Hello, my dear friends. Have you ever had one of those days where something small goes wrong and somehow it turns into one of the most unforgettable moments of your life? Well, pull up a chair and sit with me a while, because today I want to tell you about the day I accidentally locked myself out of my own house and ended up laughing harder than I had in years. Now you'd think after living as long as I have, I'd be used to little mishaps, but that morning started so ordinary that I never imagined how the day would turn out. The sun was just beginning to warm the porch, the kind of gentle morning where the air smells a little like fresh grass and yesterday's rain. I had my cup of tea in one hand and my old sweater wrapped around my shoulders. You know the one. The sweater that's probably older than some of the folks watching this video. I remember stepping outside to water the plants by the porch. My little row of flowers had been looking a bit thirsty, and I always say, plants are like people. They perk right up when someone pays them a little attention. So there I was, humming softly to myself, splashing a bit of water here and there, enjoying the quiet. Now here's the important detail, the one that caused all the trouble. When I stepped outside, I pulled the door shut behind me. Not slammed, not even firmly, just that soft little click that doors make when they close. And I didn't bring the keys. At first, I didn't notice. I finished watering the flowers, straightened a pot that had tipped slightly to one side, and even sat down on the porch chair for a moment to stretch my back. I was just enjoying the morning like I always do. Then I reached for the doorknob, and it didn't turn. Now, there was a short moment of silence. You know the kind where your brain is slowly realizing something your heart already knows. I tried again, still locked. I patted my sweater pockets. Nothing. I checked the little table by the chair, as if the keys might have magically appeared there. Nope. And that's when it hit me. Oh dear, I said out loud to absolutely nobody. I've locked myself out. Now normally a person might panic a little, maybe call someone right away, or start fussing around trying to fix it. But for some reason, I just stood there staring at the door. And then something strange happened. I started laughing. Not a polite little chuckle. No. I mean the kind of laughter that bends you over a little and makes your eyes water. The kind you can't stop even if you try. Because there I was, an old woman in a worn sweater, standing barefoot on her own porch, locked out of the very house she's lived in for decades. I laughed so hard, I had to sit down again. Now, while I was sitting there catching my breath, I started noticing things I normally rush past. The way the wind moved through the trees, the distant sound of someone mowing their lawn, a little bird hopping along the railing like he owned the place. And I thought to myself, well, Mabel, you've got two choices. You can be upset about this, or you can treat it like an unexpected vacation on your own porch. So I chose the second one. I leaned back in the chair and just watched the morning go by. After a little while, my neighbor walked past with his dog. He looked up at me and said, "Morning, everything all right?" And I said, "Perfectly fine, except for the small detail that I've locked myself out of my house." The way his face changed, oh my goodness. First confusion, then concern, and then he started laughing too. Before long, we were both standing there, trying to figure out what to do. Now, I should mention something about old houses. They all have their little secrets. Windows that stick, doors that creak, hidden spare keys that you forgot you hid. And suddenly I remembered something. Years ago, I had hidden a spare key. The trouble was, I couldn't quite remember where. So there we were, two grown adults wandering around my yard like treasure hunters. We checked under flower pots, behind the old watering can, even inside a little birdhouse that probably hadn't been opened in 10 years. No key. By this point, the whole situation had become so ridiculous that every few minutes one of us would start laughing again. Then came the moment that changed everything. I looked over at the old bench by the porch steps, the one my husband built many years ago. It's weathered now, the wood faded from years of sun and rain, but it's still sturdy. And suddenly, I remembered the day we built it. He had winked at me and said, "You never know when you might need a secret hiding spot." My heart paused for just a second. I slowly reached under the edge of that bench, feeling along the underside where a tiny piece of wood had been carved out long ago. And there it was, the little spare key. For a moment I didn't laugh at all. I just stood there holding it, thinking about him, about how many years had passed, and how somehow that small, thoughtful moment had reached forward in time to rescue me from being stuck on my own porch. Then the laughter came back, softer this time. We opened the door, and just like that, the great porch adventure was over. But you know something? I didn't rush inside right away. I sat back down in the chair for another minute and looked around at the yard, the flowers, the quiet street. Because sometimes life has a funny way of slowing you down when you didn't realize you needed it. That silly little mistake, forgetting my keys, gave me a morning full of laughter, a small treasure hunt, and a sweet memory of someone I still miss every day. And it reminded me that even ordinary days can turn into stories worth telling. So if you ever find yourself locked out of something, a house, a moment, even a difficult day, take a breath before you get frustrated. You never know what little surprises might be waiting while you're standing there. And now I'm curious, have you ever locked yourself out of your house? Or had a moment that went wrong, but somehow turned into a beautiful memory? I would love to hear your stories down in the comments. Truly, reading them feels like sitting on the porch together. And if you enjoy these little porch talks with me, don't forget to subscribe and come back again soon. There are plenty more stories tucked away in this old heart of mine. All right, my friends, until next time, take care of yourselves and don't forget to keep a spare key somewhere safe, just in case.